When he was still a child, Daygil saw a strange man arrive at the family's restaurant, claiming he was sent by the kid's uncle to bring them some money so they could live without worries. Daygil was very impressed by this man that gave him a tip for being a good boy, and Daygil took the chance to make up reasons why he should be tipped higher. The man respected the boy's intelligence and gave him extra cash while pointing out he would be a good hustler, and when Daygil showed interest in the word, the stranger taught him the tricks of the trade. Since then, Daygil has been gambling and winning thanks to cheating at every opportunity, starting with pogs during middle grade and moving into actual money in high school. Now in the present, an adult Daygil works as a delivery boy, but he still joins card games to keep on gambling. One day he's invited to a game at Guangchul's place, and Daygil gets to meet the sister Mina, who is tired of seeing Guangchul waste money on an addiction. Daygil instantly falls in love with her and tries to ask her out, but Mina responds by screaming to make her brother think she's being attacked and getting him to beat up Daygil. On his way home, Daygil sees his grandfather sneak out and go to a gambling den, where the old man loses and causes a scene by accusing everyone of cheating. The guy in charge, nicknamed Ghost, and his bodyguard take Grandpa to another room to beat him up for his behavior. Daygil comes to his rescue, and after knocking out the bodyguard by surprising him from behind, he goes against Ghost, who is armed with a knife. In the struggle, Daygil accidentally stabs Ghost, so he and Grandpa flee the place before they can be caught. At home, Daygil's mother gives him the bag of money the uncle sent years ago and she never touched, asking him to go away to the big city and lay low for a while. Daygil accepts this is the best idea, but before leaving, he stops by Mina's house to tell her he isn't good enough for her now, but he'll come back as a better worthy man and marry her. When he makes it to the city, Daygil rents an old small apartment and contacts his old friend Charlie, who works in a renowned gambling den. Charlie's job is pretending to be another player to beat the real attendants through cheating, then take the money back to the boss, Kojang, who pays him a commission. Thanks to Charlie, Daygil gets a job there as a skivvy, and he uses his charms and tricks to sell lots of refreshments and cigarettes to the clients, earning him extra tips. During his shifts, he also gets to meet the den's other employees like CO and Madam Song, who, like Charlie, pretend to be players to make everyone lose. There's also Ms. Wu, a beautiful widow customer who Daygil quickly gets a crush on. 5 months later, Kojang thinks Daygil has shown he's trustworthy and loyal enough to become a fake player like Charlie. Soon, Daygil is winning games and climbing up as the best player in the den, earning him Kojang's favoritism, which makes Charlie jealous. Now Daygil can afford good clothes and a luxury apartment, so when one night he finds Ms. Wu crying in the parking lot because she lost again, he invites her to his place to teach her how to play better. After a few hours of playing cards, Ms. Wu hits on Daygil, who at first tries to think of Mina but ends up giving in to Wu's advances. Since then, the two of them begin dating. Sometime later, Kojang chooses Ms. Wu as their next victim to be left bankrupt. The plan is to make her win for a while before striking and making her lose it all. Daygil warns Wu of this plan and asks her not to come back to the den, but Wu doesn't listen and shows up anyway. Using the tricks Daygil taught her, Ms. Wu outsmarts the others and wins anyway, causing the bankruptcy of the den. A few days later, without having heard from Wu again, Daygil needs a new place to make money, so Charlie invites him to a private game with a rich man called Jang, who comes with a big surprise. The fourth player is Mina, who seems to be this guy's lover. The game starts in Daygil's favor, and Charlie thinks they should stop while they can and leave with the money, but Daygil wants to keep going for bigger earnings. This proves to be a mistake when Mina distracts Daygil, and he ends up losing it all. It turns out Jiang has been working for Kojang and CO all along because they had found out Daygil had been dating Wu and thought he had helped her win, meaning they wanted revenge. A month after the game, Daygil still hasn't paid, so Jiang sends his men after him to get his kidney as part of the payment. During the kidnapping, Daygil's hand gets broken. Jiang takes the kidney plus Daygil's apartment and bank account, but it's still not enough to cover his whole debt. Eventually, Kojang is arrested by the police, and his employees go into hiding, so Daygil must stay low as well. Without money to spend, Daygil survives by sleeping in cafes and taking leftovers from other tables. One day, Mina finds him and invites him to have dinner together, during which she explains the game with Jang had been a trap. Charlie had been working with Jang all along, and while Daygil was distracted by Mina, the two men exchanged cards. Daygil is furious to learn his best friend betrayed him and wants revenge, but Mina reminds him not to do anything stupid, because he was supposed to marry her someday. Thanks to the money Mina gifted him, Daygil moves to a little town and begins gambling in smaller dens. One evening he's caught cheating, but he's helped by another player called Mr. Go. They don't recognize each other because they're both older now, but this man is the same guy that brought the money to Daygil's family all those years ago. Daygil is impressed by the way Mr. Go could change Daygil's cards and cover his mistake while having a prosthetic hand, so he asks him to be his mentor. Mr. Go accepts only because Daygil reminds him of a legendary player called Hands of God, who Daygil doesn't know is his uncle. Mr. Go teaches Daygil advanced gambling, tricks, and how to read people's body language. He even tells him that if one day he has to play naked, then he should just eat the extra card. The two of them become very good card partners and begin making elaborate cheating plans that allow them to start winning often again. moving from small dens to bigger ones. One evening, Daygil sees Charlie in the streets and follows him to demand an explanation. Charlie sold Daygil off because he had been jealous of him, becoming the boss's favorite. Yet he's also poor now because he had been tricked as well. It turns out that from the very beginning, SEO had been working with Madame Song and Ms. Wu to bring Kojang down, and now Daygil wonders if what he and Wu had was ever real. Charlie also has devastated news. Because of Daygil's encounter with Mina, she has been sold. Furious, Daygil goes to the den Mina was sold to and is shocked to find out it's managed by Ghost, who is still alive and working for Jang. If Daygil wants to rescue Mina, he'll have to win a game against her, while only playing with only one hand, and whoever wins will have to stab the opponent's hand. Thanks to Mr. Go's teachings, Daygil easily wins the game by reading Mina's body language, but instead of stabbing her, he hurts his own hand, which never fully recovered from the time. Jang's men broke it anyway. Daygil tries to leave with Mina, but Go stops them, explaining the money Daygil made with this game isn't enough to pay for her debt. Fortunately, Mr. Go shows up and pays the rest of the money. Once they make it back to Go's place and Mina falls asleep, Daygil wonders if someone can truly carry on a good life by only gambling. Mr. Go explains he only gambled because he was addicted. But once upon a time, there had been 4 legendary gamblers. One of them fell off a train under mysterious circumstances. The second lost his ear to the third, called Agi, who is also the guy that cut Go's hand and is known to be evil. All gamblers have misfortune as their fate, which is why the 4th legendary gambler, Hands of God, left during a huge game he was about to win, not wanting to have a dark future too. If Daygil wants a good life with Mina, Go thinks he should quit as well. Sometime later, Daygil takes Mina out to dinner and learns what happened to her. Her brother Guangchul used to gamble with Ghost, and one night when Mina went to pick him up, she got to meet Jiang, who became obsessed with her. Jiang made a plan to set up Guanghul with a gambling doctor that put him in Ghost's debt, causing Mina to show up to help her brother by working as a hustler. However, while she played, Jiang's men would slip something in her coffee, then send her to spend the night with some of the clients. And now Mina considers herself a filthy woman. Guangchul lost it when he heard what happened to her and killed the doctor that tricked him, for which he was sent to jail. Daygil explains he doesn't care because he's a dirty man too, so he wants to spend his life with her, and the two of them finally kiss. Meanwhile, Yang is furious with Ghost for having sold Mina and orders him to get her back no matter what. Ghost sends his bodyguard after the trio, and Daygil tries to beat him in a fight, but the guy is too strong. Seeing there's no other choice, Mr. Go tackles the bodyguard off a platform, killing them both. Before dying, Go asks Daygil to go away and not take revenge. Daygil doesn't listen and begins preparing a plan to get Yang back. Mina visits Guangchul in prison to get the names of 2 criminal friends that are experts at setups. With their help, they make Madame Song lose everything. Then Mina pretends to be a naive rich girl that Song can take advantage of. Mina pretends to lose it first. And once Song is tricked into a false sense of security, she wins it all back. Since Song is desperate now, Daygil pays her off to get them a game with Seo, who Mina defeats as well before handing him to Keiko Jang so he can have his revenge too. All this money allows Daygil and Mina to move into a nicer apartment and keep paying Guangchul's friends for their help. Next, Daygil gets in contact with Miss Wu again to use her to get Jang, offering her a commission too. Jang sees through Miss Wu's act though, and doesn't accept her as his new player. In fact, he guesses Daygil must be using her. After Wu leaves, Jang worries he may be robbed by Daygil soon and moves all his money to an abandoned building nobody knows about. However, this had been the plan all along. While leaving, Wu had touched Jiang and planted a tracker that showed the group the location of the money. To make revenge sweeter, they only steal half of it, then send the police to find the other half. Yang falls under an investigation for illegal gambling and bribing of officers, so he runs away, and the government puts a reward on his head. Daygil meets with Wu to pay her, but when she sees him with Mina, she gets jealous and goes to find Yang to tell him everything. Daygil and Mina are getting ready to leave the country when they get a call from Yang, who has kidnapped Guangchul's friends and demands to get his money back in exchange for their lives. Daygil agrees to meet, and at the moment of the exchange, the thug that hands in the victims takes out a knife to stab Daygil. But he had already been expecting dirty play. After tasing the thug, Daygil lights the suitcase on fire and leaves with his friends. Jiang rushes to put the fire out and discovers the suitcase had been full of fake money, so he and his men go after Daygil, which triggers a car chase through the city. Unfortunately, Mina never learned to drive properly, and she ends up crashing the car. While Jiang takes away the money, Daygil notices Mina has blood between her thighs and discovers she had been pregnant only to lose the baby in the car crash. Mina ends up in the hospital, where she's visited by Guangchul, who finally was released from jail after Daygil paid off his bail back when they started making money again. Meanwhile, Jiang pays Wu her part of the deal before meeting with some men that will smuggle him out of the country. However, these men are also paid by Wu, and they beat up Jiang. Wu wants to leave, thinking she has won, but these thugs are actually working for Ghost, who shows up puts her to sleep, and after ditching her on a pile of trash, he leaves with all the money. When Wu later returns home, she's shocked to find Jang there, who had also been thrown on a pile of trash instead of killed as she had asked. Ghost takes the money back to the real boss, the legendary Agui, who has also lost a bunch of fingers. He quickly notices there's a tracker hidden inside the suitcase and expects they'll be found soon. As he predicts, Daegil shows up together with Guangchul, followed closely by Jang. An argument soon begins about whom the money belongs to and who should kill who. So Agi proposes a solution. One last big game where they bet all the money but also their heads. Everyone accepts, and Jang proceeds to sell Wu to get some money for the game, but she convinces him to take her to the game because she can help him distract Daegil thanks to their history together. Daegil gets his money from Kojang, who wants Daegil to succeed in life, and a recovered Mina tells Guangchul she'll be Daegil's partner because she doesn't want her brother to fall into addiction again. The day of the game comes and rules are established to avoid cheating. Everyone will play naked and use only one hand. Wu has also brought brand new sealed decks so nobody can use marked cards. The game begins normally, but soon something weird begins happening and Daegil realizes the cards Wu has brought can be seen through if you know how to use your eyes. Agui realizes this too, and kicks Wu out of the game before changing decks. The game proceeds normally until Daegil is caught putting his hand near Mina's underwear. Agi bets all his money that Daegil has winning cards and Jang bets it all on Mina, having a card hidden in her underwear. However, they're both wrong. Daegil had only pretended to hide a card to trick his opponents and get an easy win. Jang and Agi don't take this well and send Ghost to stop Daegil and Mina from leaving with the money. But Guangchul came prepared and he shoots Ghost's hand off. Then, Jang turns off the lights to attack them by surprise, but Guangchul kills him, although he gets wounded in the struggle as well. Afterward, Mina offers a helping hand to Wu, who turns her down. Suddenly, Guangchul points his weapon at Daegil and Mina and takes the money from them before escaping away in their car. A few days later, the news shows that Guangchul drove through the city while tossing money at people through the window, and he later was found dead in the mountains. At home, Mina asks Daegil what he did with the extra card during the game, and confesses he ate it just like Go had taught him. Their chat is interrupted by the arrival of a letter from Guangchul, who confesses having only pretended to betray them to protect them. Now everyone thinks they don't have the money and will leave them alone. In the letter, he included a map of where he hid the money in order for his dear sister to retrieve it and start a new life with Daegil. After getting the money back, Daegil throws away his last card deck, deciding to do his Hands of God and quit gambling to have a better life.